starting off script so that way we can get back on script. Starting on script so that way later we can go off script. Women's bodies, Larry's wisdom. Wait a minute, Larry. Are you talking about the book Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom? I am. Inspired by that book. Why is that book inspiring? Because we've never been able to solve women's bodies, women's wisdom. We've never been able to solve a lot going on right here. The wisdom of, is it true that starfish can be saved? Is it true that women have never been in a worse position? Is it true that women's bodies, women's wisdom has now become outdated? Let's identify why women are in a tough pattern right now. The way that this economy has red pilled people into what's real and what's fake. I'm not going to say social media isn't real, but the way that technology impacts women's brains is the delta between how porn affects men different from how it affects women. Before that, let me introduce myself. I am Larry Chang. I read books. This is not going to be a video on, hey, ladies, if you could just read a book, it would really help. Not going to try that. We're just going to go into the comedic exploration of us doing what? Learning about things via this video that they didn't teach you when you got your female identity card. Learning things here where you say, oh my God, I can't believe I had to learn about women's anatomical conditions via a Chinese guy with a cowboy hat. Are we going to talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome? Are we going to talk about endometriosis? Are we going to talk about some basic things, which are stomach and brain connections, women's bodies, Larry Chang's wisdom, women's bodies within female stomachs? But Larry Chang, don't men and women have super similar stomachs? The way that women hold stress is different from how a man holds stress. Are these stressful times? You tell me. The way that women hold stress in our stomachs is different. Let's examine some ways to clarify our brain as we solve for our second brain. Gut intuition, gut feels, our connectedness into the collective conscious. These things are routed through the stomach. But what happens when your stomach's upset? What happens when you're constipated? What happens when you're blowing it out the back end and it never ends? The entire world could melt away because all you care about is the fact that your stomach really, really, really hurts. I'm not going to have this video go into ESP, extrasensory perception. But what having a good stomach does is it allows for people, men and women, to get a better intuitive feel for what are the best decisions I could be making? What is a wisdom that I can tap into? Let's look at some ways to heal our stomachs. Seed oil. Roll Cole has said hi. XERA paper says, I have a joke. I'm sure that the interactions will be welcome. I love doing crowd work. This video is on women's bodies, Larry's wisdom. That's a pretty funny title, don't you think? Stomach management. When I say seed oil, what do you think? Do you think that all oil is pretty much okay? Do you think that eating food such as French fries, fried in lard, easy for you to say, easy for you to eat because it just eases down your throat and it just hits the back of your throat and you don't have a gag reflex. You're like, I want to eat more. I want some more of that lard fried French fry. I want some more of that duck fat burger. Seed oil. Do you guys think that seed oils destroy your stomach lining? Also, do you think that eating a bunch of small meals through the day allows for us to be able to eat more calories? Larry, it's not about how much you eat so much as it is about how often you're eating. Do you subscribe to that? Am I talking too clearly? Should I just go and flow? I think I shall. The way that I see food get consumed is interesting. It's interesting. You see, when we used to sit around a dinner table, the way that we breathed, talked, and ate was slightly more healthy. Studies have shown that when you eat in front of a TV screen, or worse, your phone screen, you consume food way faster than you normally would consume it. Why? Because you're not eating with people, you're eating by yourself with a screen. Raise your hand, or don't raise your hand, to protect the guilty. Raise your hand if you don't raise your hand. Acknowledge to the screen or jump up and down. Yes, Larry, I do it. Acknowledge, raise your hand if you eat with your right hand while holding a phone in your left hand. I'm waiting for that joke. Let me drop a joke. Have you ever made out with a person holding their face in your right hand, holding your smartphone, recording your kiss in your other hand? You thought I was going to say something else. You thought I was going to say something where the screen is a distraction. See, what we're doing here in this video, Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom, is brainstorming ways for women to get healthier. Let's just have diarrhea, not from our butthole, but diarrhea of our mouth with an explosion of genius things that's chewable. Is this Two Girls, One Cup? It's Two Girls, One Cup of Knowledge. Is this your first Larry Chang video? I drop new episodes on Mondays and Wednesdays. Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. How do you shop for food that you DoorDash? How do you plan meals? Or are you part of the continent that is unable to plan ahead and you never plan 5 meals in advance? Meaning you're literally meal to meal, where The continent that you're from is, hey, if I'm hungry for a mango, I can just go get a mango from a tree. Which continent would that be from? What color of person would you be? What continent would you be from when you're doing women's bodies, Larry's wisdom? How do you do meal planning? How many meals do you cook per day? How many times do you watch food porn and that affects how you eat? Moving right along, since this topic is riveting, sleep. Oh my God, the problems that women have in bed. I'm not talking about between the sheets problems. I'm talking about one, why is your phone, your dirty, dirty phone, being tucked underneath your pillow? Do you not realize that your phone is destroying your ability to get REM cycles? There's no way that you don't know that sleeping 2 hours, picking up the phone, and looking at your screen is any mode of healthy sleeping. There's no way that you don't know that. In fact, Munchausen by proxy. There's a special form of child abuse. It's called Munchausen by proxy. It's where you slowly poison your kid in order to get attention. Munchausen by proxy. It affects women different from how it affects men. Ditto self harm and self immolation. Am I pronouncing that correctly? It's self harm. Why are you hurting yourself while you're trying to sleep? When you delve into sleeping, so many things happen when you sleep better. You heal better, your face recovers better. It's a topic where you have to know that sleeping healthily enough is something that is important to you. And why is it that when people talk about sleeping that the interest just rolls? I have a theory behind it. It's because when we're tired, when we're wanting to go to sleep, there's this emotional reality. There's this coming to terms, because sleep basically is death. It's in yoga, it's called shavasana, where if your day wasn't really full, then the way that you sleep wasn't really deep. So here's the problem that some people have, which is when they're awake, they're kind of tired. But then when they're in bed, they're kind of lively. And that's a flippening of, in bed, you should just be exhausted. And when you're awake, you should be hyper, where people are saying, are you bipolar? Are you hyper energized? Are you manic? No, I'm normal, because when I'm sleeping, I sleep like I'm dead. But when I'm awake, I'm hyper. This is evident in young kids that are super healthy. Have you ever seen a niece or a nephew? They run around like crazy. They're amped. They want to play with a piece of trash. They want to jump in a pile of leaves. They want to help you wash your car. And then you're like, oh my God, you're so hyper. And then they're running around, and they're like, I'm tired. I'm going to sit for a second. And then they fall asleep like that. That's what we should strive for. You don't see the little kid wake themselves up in 20 minutes, check their Insta face snap. You like that? Insta face snap. And then go back to sleep. No, when that little kid's asleep, they're asleep. Hobby. Remember, it's women's bodies, Larry's wisdom. So I travel with a small mammal. His name is Tom Brady. So he flies with me in the seat, in the he flies by my feet. He flies underneath the seat. Oh boy, those women in charge. Missed the question. What question did I miss? Which is Tom Brady, my Shih Tzu, flying with me. So I get off the airplane, and this is my hobby. I want to be able to see what your face looked like when you entered the airplane and what your face looks like when you're leaving the airplane. Why? Because I'm not going to sleep with everybody on the plane. I just need more data. What data am I trying to collect? The data I'm trying to collect is, how do you rest when there's nothing else to do on an airplane besides lower your oxygen because you're at altitude and then sleep? What does your face look like after a 3-hour nap, assuming it's San Francisco to Miami, 4.5 hours direct? What does your face look like? What does your face look like SFO to JFK or EWR for Newark? You can save $300, and there's public transportation into Manhattan from Newark. What does your face look like? Because some people, it looks like they slept on their face. It's all puffy, swollen, and not good. Ditto hot girls that have a face that has inflammation. This is what it means to deal with your stomach, deal with sleeping. This video, not even 20 minutes in, is borderline the best video that's ever been made about women's bodies. Let's start dealing with inflammation. You see, having Botox smooth away your wrinkles is a mortgage on your face. Let's try to address how to look youthful by increasing our health, by decreasing inflammation. Let's look at how we deal with inflammation as a woman who's older than 22 dealing with inflammation. You thought I was going to say younger than 23. It's just older than 22. Let's deal with inflammation. Inflammation is the least understood form of health as of 2025. JAMA, Journal America Medical Association, JAMA. All doctors do is fix you when you've been in a car wreck or sell you chemotherapy. It's not working. How many doctors are proactively attacking inflammation and your body's ability to mitigate inflammation? Very, very, very few. No doctor is going to prescribe you a keto diet. Why? Because look at doctors. Doctors have a ton of inflammation. I never listened to the ugly guy who has taken the black pill on how to date. Ditto, I'm not going to talk to the person with bags under their eyes, a swollen digits, swollen nose, and cauliflower ears because they've got swelling because their kidneys and their liver have stopped functioning. Now their nose is growing in size. Now their nose is growing in size because it's literally inflammation and cartilage. What can we do, Larry? That's sure a lot of negativity. Well, this is what we're doing, which is realizing that diet via DoorDashed food is pretty fraudulent because the food is fake. Because in order for the companies involved to deliver you $50 in food, the food has to cost less than $5. That's just how the accounting works. Let me review that. For you to get food delivered for two people at $50, the food has to cost less than $5. What if you're trying to eat a meal for less than $20? That food has to cost less than $4. Larry, I can't get a meal for under 20 bucks. This is why women are screwed right now, because women aren't cooking at the level of food preparation that men are doing. Have you ever heard a man say, "Hey, woman, I'm dating, make me food"? Most men hear a woman say, "Hey, I really like you. Can I make you food?" Most men are scared of that. Why? Because in the buildings that I live in, every time the fire alarm goes off, it's because a woman tried to cook food. These are not jokes, folks. These are true data, which is when your high rise building is about to be burnt down and the sprinklers are spooging water, that's because a woman was trying to cook. Why is cooking food not done very much by women? Women's wisdom, women's bodies, Larry's thoughts about being Confucius. Because Confucius say men cook 10 to 20 meals per week, whereas women are thinking, hey, the feminists that have been programming my brain, they say cooking myself food is a woman's job, down with the patriarchy. Where has that rebellion gotten you? Where's that rebellion gotten you? It's gotten you a stomach that is constantly messed up. It's messed up because you need coffee, high doses of it in the morning, or else you do not defecate. You need coffee as a diuretic. You're not using coffee just to wake up. You're using coffee as a diuretic. When you use a diuretic, the symptom that you're solving, which is you're stopped up, that symptom is becoming worse when you use coffee as an acid to burn out the lining of your stomach. That's what a diuretic does. Have you heard those drug commercials? Hey, are you stopped up? Do you poo twice a week? Well, poop some more is the drug for you. May cause internal bleeding, blindness, death, depression. Please consult your doctor before taking poop lubricant. 2 girls, 1 cup. It's 2 women who are doing both ends of the digestive tract. We talk about 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge, because when we manage our stomach, we can we can become smarter. Why? Because our stomach, it doubles as a second brain. Is this right out of Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural? Brain. How often do you meditate per week? How often do you meditate per week? Because when we meditate on a clear stomach, the brain fog that we dissipate, it's no longer brain fog when we have a healthy stomach on avocado oil or eliminating fried food. Our IQ doesn't double, I argue. I argue that our IQ triples in the same way that you might be wondering, hey, how many hours a week are you live on? It's not the number of hours that I'm live on, it's the number of hours that I give you per hour that you spend with me on live. This is how the math works. Women's bodies, Larry Chang's wisdom. Women's bodies, women's boobs, Larry's brain, which is being able to spend 20 minutes here. And that 20 minutes turns into 40 or 80 minutes. This is men and women, women's bodies, women's time, Larry's street smarts. Sleeping. Remember, we're trying to take a video that's shorter than 30 minutes, and we're trying to get 90 minutes. This is why my videos are so valuable. Sleeping. This is the math on sleeping. This is women's bodies, Larry's wisdom. I spent 5 figures to learn how to snuggle better because spooning is not normally stuff that guys like me do. Guys like me, we dine and dash in the bedroom. We hit it and then we quit it. But the curveball that I throw is I hit it and then I hit it again and then I spoon where she's like, are you a beta? Why are you spooning this much? And then again in the morning, which is ROI for minutes allocated to a Larry Chang Live, women's bodies, Larry Chang's math, Larry Chang's brain. This is how the math works. So the reason that women bring their phone into the bedroom is not to record us doing amateur porn with the lights mostly off. It's not for that. I've asked women, why do you think that bringing a phone here is a good idea? Because in my bedroom, I've got multiple bags, multiple Faraday caged bags, so that way you can charge your phone and the signal's blocked. It's not just on airplane mode, it's on it's not just airplane mode. I'm laughing about the comments. It's just not on airplane mode, it's on lockdown. Have you been to a Joe Rogan or Dave Chappelle party? They put your phone into a bag that's locked and Faraday caged, meaning there's no signal. There's no signal. Question, Larry, from a guy, of course. Have you brought her to the movie? We're talking about women's bodies, Larry's wisdom, polycystic ovarian syndrome, inflammation, hair growth. You see, polycystic ovarian syndrome is where the ovarian lining grows outside of the ovaries. So the lining should be on the inside, but when the lining grows on the outside, that's not good. That's not good. How do we mitigate PCOS. How do we mitigate polycystic ovarian syndrome? How do we do that? It's via inflammation. Is this day number 9 of the hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest? Yes. But Larry, I think you're misspeaking because you said the 12 days of OpenAI led you to do a company, a joke company called the 21 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. Yes, initially it was 21 days. There's actually a website that hit 21 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. Day number 9, she MD. She as in one of my pronouns, MD like medical doctor. She MD. Day 9, endometriosis. So it's a party during a music festival that doubles as a film festival, that doubles as social media influencers. Have you heard me talk about Web 2? I'm doing Web 12 before Web 12 was even a thing, because this is March 9. You see, initially it was called 21 days. And the first VC party that we went to, every VC that heard about the 21 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest, they loved it. They wanted to sponsor it. They wanted to speak at it. They wanted to do something. This is Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. Why are we starting a company that only we care about? We should be starting a company that VCs throw us money at, throw us money towards. We want to just be thrown money, and we want to be thrown putty. This is why Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom works. Throwing putty, throwing vagina, being a pussy magnet, it's way different from throwing dick, selling dick. Dick is different from vagina. I know this is brand new, brand new, because we're not doing that joke. We're doing 26 days of OpenAI ducking bankruptcy. Because put a pin in what you're saying. Put a pin in that. Because day 67 is actually a party. 21 days. Me and a member of the LGBTQ community did it. Why? Because I'm a ginormous hit. That's why I'm doing lesbian content right now with a straight face. A very straight face that's very funny, that's amazing, which is 2 minutes into us telling people, hey, 21 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest, VCs were in. My co-founder got scared. My co-founder quit. What would you do if you got a monster runaway hit? Remember, this is Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. What would you do? This is what I did. I added 2 numbers from 21 to 23, and I called it 23 days of OpenAI at SXSW. Good job. Good job. Tomato sauce for the win. Tomato sauce, also good job on the prior video that you were involved in. And also good job on the prior video, Sugar Daddy, because it was 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. So when you ask good questions, you come up with amazingly good answers. That's limitless. Are our vaginas becoming limitlessly healthy? Yeah. Is that going to be an unofficial chapter within Jim Quick's book? Actually, yes, because chapter 29 is Limitless Church. Chapter 67, hashtag CHA 67, Limitless Vaginal Health. You see, during the 26 Days franchise, I changed teams because that's the T component in LGBTQT is I'm allowed to change teams. I'm allowed to, if other people are allowed to swap pronouns, I can change teams. Ditto college football. The NIL portal is everybody changing teams pretty much every year. College football, college basketball, college baseball is a ginormous, chaotic cluster F. This is me changing teams. This is me dropping jokes while I change teams. Because I changed teams from the 26 days of OpenAI ducking BK. On day 13, I changed it to the hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Now, women's bodies, Larry's wisdom. I can make women more money with a hashtag than women who went to Yale, Brown, MIT can with their MIT, Brown, or Yale degree. Let me repeat that. This is women's bodies, Larry's wisdom. You see, a hashtag for women prior to Larry Chang taking over the feminist movement, this is how a hashtag was used. It was used to double as an exclamation point in the way that Mexican people put the exclamation point upside down before they start talking to increase their Latin vibe. Like, exactamundo! It's got an exclamation point at the beginning. It has an exclamation point in the end. Or estudio, which is a question mark in the beginning and a question mark in the end. Or chino, tu usted chino? That's question mark at the beginning. Are you Oriental? You're really hot. End question mark. That's how a hashtag has been used up till now, is as a white person exclamation point, hashtag sarcasm, hashtag not impressed. This is the female brain in one sentence, which is simultaneously going in 5 directions. And I'm not talking about the fifth epiphany, 5 directions, because that is 4 steps to the epiphany, Steve Blank, all going in one direction. Awesome. Plus a 5th step to the epiphany, which I did in the same direction, which is helping us get rich from a paperback book that was almost $80. Who sells a paperback book for $80? A confident Caucasian man who says, read my book for $80. If you don't make $2 million with my $80 book, you're an idiot. Not Steve Blank's words. My words, that's how I met him. I've told you the Jessica Chen story with LA dude trying to sell her LA man penis, and then me coming up with countermeasures, having to make out with almost 3 girls in order for him to stop hitting on her and for Jessica to motor on over, pull on my hips, and go, don't, as I'm making out with another girl. Don't make out with another one. Don't. Stop. Don't, Larry, don't. Which is women's bodies, Larry's wisdom, hashtags. You see, a hashtag is a GPS pointer. Are you lost in the vaginal mucus? Has your brain disconnected because women who become involuntarily celibate, they have different symptoms. They have different side effects from when a man is involuntarily celibate. This is why this video is the most genius video, which should get me a PhD in women's studies. Women are constantly aware of men who are involuntarily celibate. Here's the problem. There's a F ton of women that are involuntarily celibate. Why? Because their flower has dried up and died and is no longer receptive to the market value that she's putting out there. Remember, she doesn't cook a meal, she doesn't have men over for dinner. She doesn't know who programmed her brain. She doesn't know who programmed her brain. I know who programmed her brain. That's why this video is called Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. Because if I had boobs, I would be a billionaire. Why? Because I would meet a guy like Larry Chang. And then obviously, if I were a girl, I'd be hot with big boobs. And then I would say, wow, that Larry Chang guy's a genius. I'm going to just study his stuff, making $1 billion. It's super easy. Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. Oh, did feelings get hurt? Did feelings get hurt? That's okay. That's okay that feelings got hurt. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because this video is going to be sold for money. This is why. When a hashtag helps your brain get organized, now you have a map. And when you don't have a plan, you're not understanding what Stephen Blank said, 4 Steps to the Epiphany, which is no company survives first customer contact. It's similar to the Mike Tyson quote, which is every boxer has a plan until they get hit in the face. What women have a hard time with because of mental involuntary celibacy is this. When a woman fails to properly, organically have sex with a person that checks all of their boxes, women start to wither in the vaginal mucus. Not my words, Kara Swisher, Max Levchin. Kara Swisher, she's my friend. Max Levchin is University of Illinois. As a Ukrainian Jew, recruiting Larry Chang to be an honorary JBA and then getting mad at me because the co-founder of PayPal decides to get married during South by, dragging everyone else who he invites to the wedding away from South by. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at yourself. Hashtag SXSW. Let's focus on the map. Today is day 49 of what? Of hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Why are these map points important? They're jumping off points. There's techniques to load and explode. What's an example, Larry, of a load and explode? That would be day 67, which is the Super Bowl, because 67 days from December 1 is February 8. That's the Super Bowl. That's why today is day 19 of the hashtag. "55 days of Gemini 3, ducking hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl. Larry, what's an example of money? An example of money is this. On day 15, a completely innocuous day that was not significant, it's this. Day 15 of the hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at SXSW. A VC was like, do you want to come to Osaka for Osaka World Fair? That's the first time that we used Grok. And at the time, it was Grok 3. So in August, we did the hashtag 19 days of Grok 3 at Osaka World Fair. For that riff on March 15. Why was it March 15? Because nobody at South by knew about August Osaka World Fair. And when you have a greeting, don't just have a one-word greeting. Remember, that's what women do with one-word text message, where you can't wire your brain like a woman. This is me in a title video called Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. As a man acting like a woman, Anthony, you don't want to just have one word, which is, or the famous, this relationship is begging for me to break up with you, which is just a question mark sent as a text message or a one word response. Like, it's very, very female energy. This video, you're welcome. Welcome to this video, which is Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom, hashtagging, and monetary flow. You see, on March 15, I heard a problem. Nobody at South by was going to go to Osaka. You see, on January 26th, that's the national championship for college Division I football, January 26th. That's in Miami. You see, on January 26, 27, what people are going to do is they're going to fly from Miami, college football national championship at Hard Rock Stadium. They're going to fly January 27 to San Francisco because it's day number 62 of the hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl. Hard stop. What was genius within what I said, and how can that be of profit to you women or guys? Why are guys even in this room right now? It's a room for women. It's a room for women because it's called Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. Stopping here, what are your reactions? Anthony, I'm pretty funny, aren't I? Pretty funny? Thank you for watching and not liking. It shows me your mental state. You see, January 26th is the college football national championship. It transitions perfectly into February 8th, which is the Super Bowl. But here's the problem. The problem is that Osaka World Fair was basically the South by of Japan. South by Southwest of Japan, it wasn't connecting. They would pay a lot of money to connect the two. That's what we're doing with hashtags using guacamole recipe number 23, which is connecting your cravings, because depending on where we're at in our monthly cycle, our cravings can affect how we consume food, how we consume content, how we network with people within the context of women's bodies, Larry Chang's wisdom. I came in under time. How amazing has this video been? Are we now going to be Bumble BFFs? Are we turning around Bumble dating app by buzzing from content to content? Have you recently used Bumble? Are we going to be Bumble BFF? So, what a good question. So, what we're doing is we're connecting February 6, February 5, February 4 into a snowball. Because remember, it's hashtag 55 days of Gemini 3 at SF Super Bowl. This pays for our vacation to Omaha, Nebraska, May 3, May 2, May 1. Because we've never used AI before to get a vacation, American intelligence. You don't think I'm going to pay to go to the football national championship, do you? You don't think I'm going to pay to go to the Super Bowl, do you? No, 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 no. Me, Ronnie Lott, and a couple thousand business executives, we go for the networking that happens at the Super Bowl. All the Super Bowl is business networking. It's basically a trade show for football and the people that are in the highest echelons of business. This is Super Bowl networking. The game is for newbies because where we want to watch the football game is at the team hotel. But that's a different video, because this video is women's bodies, Larry's wisdom. You know what? I can't talk about it because some women really want to date a millionaire football player. This is how to do it. You do it at the team hotel by networking at the team hotel. So the AFC has a team hotel. The NFC has a team hotel. What you're doing with Super Bowl week of networking is realizing the Super Bowl is on Sunday. But when people say Super Bowl parties, most people think, oh, we're going to have a party at my house. We're going to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday. That's not a Super Bowl party. Remember, this video is called Women's Bodies, Women's New Wisdom, because Larry Chang is alpha female, Larry's wisdom. Because Confucius say the Super Bowl parties, they happen Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday, and Sunday. So San Francisco, Santa Clara is going to be Super Bowl February 8th. February 6th on Friday is going to be a dozen parties. What you're doing with these parties is you're Web 12ing these parties, because nobody's going to know about Web 12. Why is Web 12 important? Here's an example. Dave Portnoy, he's going to have a party on Saturday. Rob Gronkowski, he's going to have Gronk Beach on Saturday. There are people that have Ron Jaworski. He has a fundraising event on Thursday. Christians who are in football host a Christian breakfast. I'm not even making this up. Sunday at 6 a.m. Who hosts a breakfast at 6 a.m.? That would be nerdy Christian people. This is what we did in Vegas. We just stayed up all night because when you get up for a 6 a.m. party, do you wake up at 5 or 4:30, right? Because it's going to take her 90 minutes to get ready. Hello? When do we wake up? At 4? So if we got to wake up at 4, what time are we going to go to bed? 3? 1? What are we going to go to bed at, like 11? You can't go to bed at 11. You're in Vegas. So we just stayed up all night. Me, I didn't have a date because who brings a date to a Super Bowl party? My entire group had dates fly in because it was Sunday, because it was Saturday. It was Saturday night. I'm like, Saturday night for the Super Bowl, and you're flying in your girlfriend, and then we're going to go to this Christian breakfast? Like, I'm going to be the only person holding my own self with no date. So guess what I did? I ran Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom. Would you like to come to church with me at 6 a.m.? Because that's what happens at Christian breakfast. It's like church on crack. That's the Bart Starr breakfast. And then all these, I swear the NFL is 90% Christian. So you just meet all these people who are Christian, and you got to, this is what I do. I change clothes so that way if I see anybody from last night, they won't just be like, hey, did you stay up all night? I thought you were a Christian. Like, what does me staying up all night make me less Christian? It's basically Young Life. Ooh, that's a good idea for a party. It's Young Life alums. Young Life. Ooh, this is going to be a good one too, which is Campus Crusade for Christ at Menlo Park Presbyterian. You just take over a church for Saturday night because they're not using it. I hope you guys had a good time. This video came in under 60 minutes. I hope that you think about meditation, Shavasana, Nadi Shanana breathing, sleeping better, making you a moderator for next time, sleeping better, managing your phone, managing your language, managing your energy, and when you are a woman pretending to be a guy, remember that when you're throwing vagina, you still have your guy persona on. When you're talking like a girl throwing vagina with your male persona, I can read past all of it. I am the vagina whisperer. I am the vagina whisperer. I am not a pussy magnet. I am a pussy magnet. But know that those two words, pussy magnet, vagina whisperer, are as different as marketing and sales. Because sales is not marketing, and marketing is throwing Hail Marys. It's under 60 minutes. Consider subscribing because this quality of video is indicative of overall quality. Remember, quantity has a quality all its own. Remember, we can, as women, install Larry's brain. It's Women's Bodies, Larry's Wisdom.